Hi everybody, I'm Ethan Hardy. I hope you're as excited as I am for what's coming up on TKD Starcast. For episode 7, we'll be chatting with Jack Woolley. He's a minus 58 kilogram fighter, highest rank achieved, world number 1, Grand Prix medalist, 2-time European medalist, and multiple-time International Open champion and medalist. Jack, thanks so much for being on Starcast.
Oh, no problem at all. It's a pleasure.
This is cool. You're in the weight class that I'll probably be in one day. And I'm part Irish, like you.
We don't have many Irish fighters, so if you ever want to fight for Ireland, I'm sure that we could pull a few strings.
Sure. Congratulations on auto qualifying for Tokyo. How do you
Thank
feel?
you. It's crazy. It was a bit of a relief. You see, we tried 4 years ago for the Rio Olympics, and we just missed out. You had to get gold or silver at the qualifications. So and I ended up getting a bronze. But this time we worked hard for 4 years, and it's just a real sense of relief. And I'm very proud of everything that we've done over the last 4 years. So now we can say that we've qualified for the Olympics.
Yeah, it's really cool. Do you have a special plan in your mind? Like, do you plan on competing much before?
So I was just recently talking to my coach Robert Taff last week about like the plan coming up to the games. So we're going to do a few competitions. We're going to do President's Cup in Sweden. We're going to do the US Open in Florida. A few other ones just for preparation, getting a bit of mat time, because we want to go into the Olympics with a good ranking so that we can have the best position possible to get a medal. So we're going to keep our ranking points up, hopefully be in the top 6 at least going into the games, and that way we can hopefully bring home a medal for Ireland. So just keeping them ranking points going.
When did you start Taekwondo?
So I started Taekwondo when I was 6, because at the time I wasn't allowed to start until I was 6, because they had a rule in the club that I wanted to join that you had to start when you were 6 years old. So on my 6th birthday, I went down, and I was really good at it, to be honest. I did a bit of gymnastics on the side, so obviously the flexibility and stuff really helped. Going into Taekwondo with the high kicks and stuff, I just fell in love with it. So
Yeah. Where do you usually do your training?
So we usually do the training in this hall here, which is in Tala in Dublin. It's my club venue. Most of my club mates are also on the national team, so that's where we do all of our training. I come down early mornings, 6:30 in the morning, do a bit of training before my coach goes to work, things like that. But usually, if I want to go to a training camp, I will fly out to Spain, because I've got some really good friends out there, just to switch up some training partners. Because if you're fighting all the same people all the time, you're going to get used to each other, and it's going to be very difficult to improve. So switching up a few training partners here and there. I've got a few good friends over in America. I don't know if you know Anastasia Zolotic on the USA national team.
Yeah.
Ara White, people like that. So I would try to get as many international training sessions in as possible as well.
That's good, like getting a variety.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what we're trying to do. It's very difficult because I'm always I'm the only senior on the national team. So when we do travel to competitions, we do get some warm ups done with other countries. We get some before weigh-in day training sessions with different countries. So it's really helpful to have friends from all around the world.
Yeah. What do you normally eat before a competition?
Well, is this before weigh-in or after weigh-in? Because usually before weigh-ins, I would eat clean for a good few days, maybe 10 days leading up. A few more athletes would need a little bit more time, but luckily I'm close enough to my weight, so I only have to lose usually about 2 to 3 kilos, which might seem a lot when you're where you're younger, but when you start getting older, I know a few people that used to like cut 8 to 10 kilos, so it's not that much. I would usually just keep it clean, have your meat and your vegetables. Try not have as much junk food. It's easier said than done, but no, before competition day, after weighing, I like to have a really high carb meal, so a lot of pasta, a lot of stuff like that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. What's your favorite dish?
My favorite dish, you see, right? That's a good question. I've had many arguments with people about this actually. Um, my favorite food is ice cream. Okay, and a lot of people tell me I can't say that my favorite food is ice cream because it's not technically a dish. But
It
to me, it's a dish. I love ice cream. I'll eat as much of it as I want. But no, like my favorite hot meal would probably be a pasta carbonara or something that's high energy that will keep you going, stuff like that.
carbonara tastes really good.
It's so good. Yeah.
Do you have a hidden talent?
Hidden talent. I don't know. Do I? Well, it wouldn't be really hidden because if I have a talent, I like to share it with people. So I would everyone would probably know my hidden talent. I can kick myself in the back of the head, but I think a lot of people already know that. With the scorpion kick, I can come around and like just kind of tap myself in the back of the head. But there's actually been a competition where I've had to do that. There was a test for the dados, and they were trying to tell me that my socks were broken and that I wasn't the system on the opposite opponent. So I was like arguing with the referee. I was like, "No, I'm telling you, it's not my socks. It's the other person's body armor." So I actually kicked myself in the body, and then I swung my leg up and I kicked myself in the back of the head just to see the test, and it worked. So they realized it wasn't my socks, and they changed his equipment. So I guess that's something. That's a talent.
How did you work up to be at your top level?
Oh, that's a good question. Is yeah, you need to get a good balance between yourself and your coach to like have maximum, because you can be at the best physical level you like ever, but if your mental's not in a good state or you don't have a good relationship with your coach and stuff like that, you're not going to be at your maximum. You might feel physically like you're at your maximum, but you have to have a good balance between both mental, physical, and like good relationships with your team and stuff. Um, it's just going down training, giving 100% in training every day. There's no point in not giving 100%. Like I said, I've taken a few days off recently because I was suffering with a chest infection. I could have come down and trained. I could have got on with the training, but it would never have been 100%. So there's no point in coming down and not giving all you've got in training, because you're not going to improve, and it's probably going to make it a lot worse. So just
Yeah.
knowing when's the right time to train. Don't just train every day for the sake of training every day. Feel when you feel good. That's probably the best time to be training.
Yeah, and I hope you feel better.
Thanks very much.
You have like a really cool move. It's like a windmill scorpion kick. How did you
Yeah.
learn that?
I like to say I invented it, but I can't take all the credit. So I was at the Belgian Open in 2013, and one of the girls from Great Britain, she started throwing it at the competition in the clinch. So she would like wrap her foot around the opponent's head. But she didn't keep it up. I seen her at a few competitions, and I just remember that one day she started doing that kick. Some referees might gamge on you; they might take the points off. So she kind of forgot about it. But as soon as I seen it, I just jumped at the opportunity I had. Practiced it so much in training, and kind of not saying I made it famous, but it's kind of a kick that will be associated with my name. Um, yeah, it is my favorite kick. I still throw it to this day, but you can't overdo kicks because it'll be obvious to your opponent what you're going to do. So you need to switch things up now and again. But it's always in my back pocket. I can just throw it when it needs to be thrown.
What advice would you give to young athletes who look up to you?
Oh, what would I give it advice? Don't overtrain when you're young. That's one of the big things I've seen a lot of young people being told they're the best. Um, they're gonna go places and they get overworked, they get overtrained, and mentally they start to resent the sport. They start to not be in love with it as much because they're being pushed into it. I would definitely say take your time, don't rush things. Train when you want to. When you're happy to train, train. Because if you're not happy, what's the point? Don't be cutting weight at an early age. That's a major thing for me because from from a very young age I was cutting weight. 54 kilos, trying to get to 54 kilos for the World Championships in 2017. I was nearly 20 years old, cutting to that weight, and it was horrific. Really bad experience. So at young ages, I don't think people should be cutting weight because it'll mentally mess them up in a way. But yeah, train hard, train to have fun. Don't put too much pressure on yourself because when you start becoming 15, 16, then it starts to get real. That's when ranking points start coming into it when you're senior, and that's when you need to be training to win medals. But as a young age, I think just have fun with it. And if you've got the potential, then when you're a senior, you'll be flying.
Yeah. What advice would you think you would give to parents?
Parents, it's similar to what I just said. Don't push your kids into it. Don't force them to do it every single day if they're getting upset with it. Because there's no point in training when you're upset, when you're not going to give 100%. You see a few people who were child prodigies and they've kind of fallen off the public environment. No one's really noticing them anymore because as a kid they were fantastic, and then everything started to catch up with them. So parents, I don't think, should be forcing their kids. Also, I know my parents were extremely supportive. They whenever I needed a lift to train, whenever they would take me to training. If I had training over in another place across the country, they would always take me. So try to be as supportive as possible. To be honest, I'm not a parent, so I can't give the best advice. I only know from my own experience with my parents. But yeah, no. Hopefully, we never know. Maybe one day I'll have a better answer if I become a dad. But for the foreseeable future, I don't know.
Who was your idol when you were a kid?
My idol was, to be honest, I think most people around the age of 21, 22 would all say this. It was Aaron Cook, just because of how well he did at such a young age. So getting to the Olympics, like I think it was 2008, going to the Olympics. That's crazy. Like the first time I tried for the Olympics, I didn't make it. He did, and that's an amazing achievement. He's got such a vast amount of medals, world medals, Grand Prix medals. He's just like an amazing athlete. So I used to look up to him when I was a kid, still do, but to be honest, I wouldn't call him as much as an idol anymore. I call him a good friend now because I've grown up around him. I've grown up seeing him at competitions. We actually have been warming up together at some competitions recently because we both are from countries where we travel alone a lot with our coach. So I would travel with my coach and he'd travel with his brother Luke. And we just kind of needed each other at recent competitions. So to be able to say that my good friend now, Aaron Cook, used to be my idol it's amazing because not many people can say that their idol is now their friend.
Yeah. How do you overcome nerves?
I used to struggle a lot with nerves. I used to get very anxious before my fights because you go into competitions and people have such high expectations of you. You don't know how to feel if you lose. How are other people gonna see me? Like I didn't mind losing myself. Like I could get over that. It was just what other people thought of me. But recently, I've learned that I'm doing the sport for myself. I'm not doing the sport for other people. If I win, that's great. That's my accomplishment. If I lose, then I've got to work on something. So I try not to get as nervous as possible anymore. Obviously, sometimes it does creep in when you're at major competitions, when it means if you don't get a medal, you're not going to qualify for the Olympics. It starts to get like the crucial points. There's been a few times recently where I was told if I don't get a gold medal at this competition, you're not going to qualify, and it's big pressure. But I've overcome them situations, and I still continue to overcome them situations. So with the nerves, I try not to dwell too much on them. I stick my earphones in, listen to my music and zone out, not focus on the fight until I really step on the mat, and then it's go time.
Yeah. Who helped you succeed?
A lot of it would be down to my coach. Um, he works full time. He's got the club full time. Basically he's my coach full time as well. So he's got a lot of things to balance. Uh, he's he's really given me everything that I could want. He travels with me. He's helped me financially. He kind of does a lot for me. So if it wasn't for him, I don't think I would be where I am. Similar enough to my parents as well, though, because as a young kid, I didn't have the support financially. I wasn't able to train as much if it wasn't for them. So it's a good support system in Ireland, because once somebody sees something in you, something small, like a little spark of like potential, and they start giving you attention, then uh, yeah, it's really beneficial at the end of the day.
Yeah. Do you have like a special routine before a tournament?
Yeah, usually I try to keep all my tournaments the same schedule wise. Like I like to get a good rest beforehand, weigh in, have something to eat, have a nap. I love my naps. Like I don't think I'd be able to live without my naps. There's always in between training sessions and stuff, you'll always have a nap. But get to bed early. I'll always be asleep by about 9:30 at night. Wake up early because you've got to be ready for a random weigh-in. You never know if you're going to get called.
Yeah.
I'll always have my special towel. My special towel, I'll always prepare the night before. I'll always have my gear laid out and just ready to go. Get up, get ready, and be in the zone. Like I said, music is a very important part of my routine. It keeps me focused. It keeps me hopefully nerve free. I would say that's definitely the biggest thing for me.
Yeah. Are you like superstitious a little bit?
I used to be really superstitious actually. I have to have my sliders positioned parallel to the side of the mat. I used to have to have my bottle right next to them. My towel has to be over the chair. My jacket has to be underneath the chair. Like you've got these little things that I always used to have. Now, sometimes I have them, but to get out of it, I was told it was unhealthy by psychologists and just people in general, that it was unhealthy because if something goes wrong, I might panic. I started lining up my flip flops, and just before I got on the mat, I would kick them and like make sure they like were out of place. Just for preparation for further competitions, knowing that I didn't have to always have it. I used to have lucky pants before. I don't have them anymore. When I was younger, I always used to wear the same ones for fight day. Uh, yeah, no, I was very superstitious, but as you grow older, you gotta realize that it doesn't always pan out the way you want it to. So you're gonna have to get out of it.
Yeah. What's your favorite accomplishment?
Favorite accomplishment? Probably getting to world number one. Actually, no, sorry, I just qualified for the Olympics. I keep probably qualifying for the Olympics. It's the most important thing I've done, but up until then, it was getting to world number one. For Ireland to get to a world number one, it's crazy because we've never even had an athlete qualify for a Grand Prix, and that's the top 32 in the Olympic rankings. You have to be to qualify for the Grand Prix. Ireland's never had anybody close to that, and to be a world number one in a sport that nobody's gotten close to it was a big major accomplishment for me. Yeah.
Wow. What do you do in your free time to relax?
My free time, I I like to have me naps. My naps are very important. If you ask anybody that's close to me, they will all know Jack is probably like the best sleeper you'll ever see. Um, I can have a nap whenever I want. I can sleep on planes. A lot of people can't sleep on planes. We went to Australia Open earlier on last year. I think it was June last year. We went to Australia Open, and I slept 20 out of the 29 hours
What?
travel. Yeah, 20 out of 29 hours I slept, so I'm a good sleeper. Um, I would like to listen to my music and just chill out as well in my spare time. My friends are are very important to me. I have a small friend group, but I think it's nice in a way that it's just more personal. Well, I travel quite a lot, so when I do get to see them, it's well needed because I wouldn't see them that often. Uh, but yeah, I'm quite calm in my spare time. A lot of people would do like other sports, or they would like go out and do crazy things like rock climbing. I wouldn't typically do that. I would think I would just try and stay injury free, go see my friends, and just chill out.
Yeah. How do you overcome obstacles?
Overcome obstacles. I would. I'm the type of person that doesn't like to dwell too much on the past or the future. Like I'm in the present moment now. So like right now I'm speaking to you. I'm not thinking about what happened last week, what I ate for dinner 2 days ago. Like that's out of my mind because I don't have the physical ability to change any of that. Same with the future. Like I can't change anything in the future. I can only do my best at this certain moment. So obstacles once I hit an obstacle, I try to think of all the possible ways to overcome it. Sit down, talk to my coach because if the I tend to only really have these certain obstacles then when they're around the sport. So my coach would probably know best because he's been through it. He's on this roller coaster journey with me. So we both try to sit down and talk things out, see what's best, and just work together.
Yeah. What was your hardest obstacle?
My hardest obstacle, um, probably just getting through competitions at the end of 2018. So
Really?
I went through quite a lot, like personally wise. So like my grandmother died when I was at the Polish Open. Um, so that was difficult. I missed our funeral because I had to go to a Grand Prix in Taiwan. Um, while I was at the Grand Prix final a few months later, my dad ended up contracting meningitis, ended up in hospital. So that was a kind of a tough period for me. So it was probably 3 or 4 months of torture that I had to be around personally at home and stuff like that with family. But getting through competitions because I did have like a heavy block of competitions. We had probably like 5 or 6 competitions in 3 months that I had to just push through, do my best because I knew that if I didn't get these results that we had planned on or that we needed, that there was no chance of qualification. Um, luckily, I've qualified now, so we can say that I must have done good enough with the results during that period of time. But it was definitely a challenge to keep focused, keep determined to do well.
Yeah. What was your favorite tournament this year? I mean, well, last year.
I always make that mistake, so it's fine. To me, it's still 2019 in my head. My my best result or favorite competition was probably the Pan Am President's Cup in where was it? It was in Las Vegas. It was probably the I needed to go to stop a Mexican fighter getting gold because with President's Cups you get to keep the extra 20 points on top of your maximum 40. So if Mexico actually got gold at that tournament, he would have qualified and taken my position. So we were on opposite sides of the draw. I just needed to make sure he didn't get gold. So luckily I beat him in the final. Uh, so it was tough mentally, but there was such a relief afterwards that we knew, okay, we're still on track. We can still qualify for the Olympics. So that was probably the most important competition for me last year.
Yeah. Besides competing in Taekwondo, what are your other dreams?
Oh, that's a good. I don't know actually. My other dreams would be to I'd like to coach afterwards. I see a lot of young athletes coming into the gym, and I just want to help them as best I can. Obviously, I can't give them 100% of my attention just right now because I've got myself to focus on. But after I'm done competing, I'd love to, hopefully I'll have a sports degree somewhere along the line. Just I tried out college before. It didn't go very well. I was too focused on the sport. So when the time's right, hopefully get a sports degree. I'll hopefully go into some coaching and yeah, that's all I can really say now because I'm not really thinking about anything else at the moment.
What's something that people might be surprised about you?
Um, something that people might be surprised about. I don't know. So a lot of people see me at competitions and they assume because I'm quiet that sometimes I can come across a bit arrogant or a bit too confident in a sense. But just because I travel alone, I would try and keep to myself. In between matches, we try to stay really in the zone, focused. Like put my earphones in. Uh, so sometimes I've got this before actually at competitions where kids have come up to me asking me for photographs, and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, no problem, of course, I'll take a photo." Or like just I'll always have a conversation with people, and people have said to me that they're shocked because they assumed that I was going to be very rude or very arrogant, and that
Really?
that kind of shocked me, to be fair, because I know like I'm very outgoing. I'm a bit of a let's say an extrovert type person. Like I like to kind of be involved with people a little bit more. So when I heard this at the start, when people thought I was going to be very like standoffish to them, I was a bit shocked. But apparently people are surprised that I'm a normal person.
If you could go back in time and give advice to your little kid self, what would it be?
If I could give advice to little me, I would say not focus on what other people think of you. Um, try try just be happy, because I for a long time I spent a lot of time thinking of what other people thought of me. Going into Grand Prix initially, people people told me I was never going to be good enough. I've had people tell me, "Oh, you're good, but you're not good enough for Grand Prix. You're going to go in there." I was a 54 player when I first started out at Grand Prix, so I had to fight the 58 category. "Oh, you're too light. You're too inexperienced. You're going to get hurt. This is a bad decision." And that was what I was told. But I listened to those people, and maybe my first Grand Prix weren't up to scratch. They weren't good enough for my liking. But uh, no, I eventually grew to learn that what other people think of you, it doesn't matter. You once you're happy with yourself, then that's all you can do.
Yeah. What's the one thing you would like to be remembered for most?
I'd like to be remembered for being the first Olympic gold medalist from Ireland in taekwondo. Like right now, I'm the first person to qualify for Grand Prix. I'm the first person from Ireland to get a Grand Prix medal, to qualify for Olympics, senior European silver medalist, stuff like that. But I don't. At the end of the day, it was good when it happened, but right now that's in the past. I'd like to be Ireland's first Olympic gold medalist in the sport. So that's the dream, anyways.
Thanks so much for being on StarCast, Jack.
No problem at all. It's a pleasure.
I really appreciate you taking the time, and I know our audience enjoyed hearing and listening to your story and advice.
I really hope so. Thank you.
Thanks everybody for watching or listening. I'm Ethan Hardy, signing out with the StarCast. Who do you think is your favorite superhero?
My favorite superhero, oh, is probably Spider-Man. Just because they're probably my favorite films. It wouldn't necessarily be the superhero I would like to be. I think I'd prefer to be Iron Man, just because he's got all the money and
Yeah,
he's got the confidence.
you see.
But no, my favorite films would probably be the Spider-Man ones. So I'd say Spider-Man.
Nice. Which superpower would you rather have? Super speed, laser vision, or flight?
Flight, definitely flight. Because if you think about it, I travel so much and it's extremely expensive. So if I was able to fly, I could fly to all these countries, go to all the competitions, and not have to spend a penny.
Yeah. I caught my finger, Cat.
Looks like a pig.